No, I I thankfully have never had to deal with an HOA myself, but I have a number of friends who do, and especially at this point in my life where I'm finally getting around to maybe thinking about purchasing a home, it's one of those things that people remind you of on a pretty regular basis, and I'm not really one for being told what they can and can't do on their property. I've just, so that one stuck in my craw quite a bit. So it is mostly a work of complete fiction, mostly with a little
You
hint of truth. I think that person is the same whether you're talking about an HOA or a PTA or any organization. I was thinking about it. I used to teach high school, and I was way too young when I was teaching high school. I was like 23, 24 when I started teaching high school. I was only a handful of years older than my students, and it was this really shocking moment for me that I think we all go through at a certain point when I started meeting these teachers who reminded me of my old teachers. And I thought, oh no, there's no control. It's just people. We're just people, which is a silly thing to finally realize, but it's true. But you're like, oh, there's no higher authority that's guiding these people. We're just people, and we screw up as just as much as I did when I was a teenager, if not more. And but there are always those people who seem to believe that the only thing wrong with the way that any organization works is that they aren't running it. And I have a serious place in my spleen for those people. So that's more or less who I'm channeling with that character. I think that the I think life is very absurd. I think that anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. I really I think that any given day that you step out of your home and days that you don't, you're going to deal with very, very weird, strange, absurd situations that don't make sense. And sometimes it's something that takes you completely off guard, and sometimes it's something that you have accepted as normal right up until the moment that something clicks in your head and you go, why am I doing this? And I guess that's growth, I suppose. But yeah, I think to me, it's about the absurdity of a relationship crumbling, people that someone who you shouldn't have any reason to offer any sense of, if not love, some kindness. When breakups can be very messy, I think, as most of us know. The unfortunate few who don't know will eventually learn. They could be very cruel and very nasty, and even when they're as amicable as possible, there's still a lot of baggage and a lot of pain that goes with that. And but so in those moments, looking from the outside in, we all recognize those absurd moments where we want to help the person who maybe broke our heart. Despite everything, there's that. I find that in most relationships, when it ends, there's that one last little moment of kindness, a little gift from one to the other, a gesture. And I think that's lovely. I think that's wonderful. It shows that we are it gives me hope for people with their hearts and that sort of thing. And so there's but at the same time, that huge dramatic moment is only your huge dramatic moment. It belongs to you. And even if we have been through painful breakups, divorce, that sort of thing, when you see someone else going through it, your heart can go out for them. But thank God you don't feel the same emotions that they're feeling. You recognize it and go, oh, I've been there. I've been through that. That really sucks. But you, thank God, don't feel it. You don't revisit it yourself. So the things that they do for the other person can seem, you want to take them aside and go, why are you doing this? You don't owe them anything. It's done. It's over. But it makes you do silly things, love. And the dissolution of love makes you do silly things. And I think this was just kind of my attempt at putting a physical moment of just how insane that gesture can get, just how absurd it can be. I think what it is you go from being this thing, this combination of two people, this combination of two wholes, you make a relationship, and the uh, there is a difference, obviously, in the way you treat that person versus the way you treat everyone else in the world. And then suddenly that person becomes just another part of the world. Again, they leave the whole and they become just part of the world. But there's still, sometimes you get this little reminder of the outside world still deserves a little kindness, even if that particular piece of things got tangled and brutal and unnecessary. It's being kind to people is very important to me, whether it's someone who broke my heart or somebody I've never seen before in my life. You don't have to go overboard. Not everyone, you don't need to go out and buy milkshakes for everybody, because some people are lactose intolerant and the other ones don't know you and say, get away from me with that. It's an experiment. I gave a try. But but a general kindness, a general gesture. And I think it's that kind of adieu. Like that's kind of what that represents. And in those moments, my instinct, in order to be as sincere as I possibly can be, I also want to amp up the absurdity. It's the spoon full of sugar that helps the pill go down a little bit. Just make it silly and fun, and make it something that people laugh about and hopefully talk about on the way home.